Welcome to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and today is September 29th, 2021. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on today, but first I want to make sure that you guys remember to hit the share button, hit the like button, and let me know you enjoy the show by leaving comments. Get involved. If you have a question, I'll try to answer it for you if you put it up on the Facebook or YouTube comments. Hey, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday, that's tomorrow night, by going to investorschooling.com. You'll learn about real estate investing, you'll learn about stock options trading, and you'll learn about it from those who do it every day. So on today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about the market update. We're going to be talking about Warby Parker IPO, the debt ceiling vote, inflation and supply bottlenecks. What happened to Evergrande? We're going to be talking about $1.50 tree. You'll be interested in that in a little while. And of course, we're going to talk about some of my favorite picks and the wrap up. All right, so the Dow and the S&P and the NASDAQ, very strange day. The Dow started off a little bit slow, then it gained traction, then it finished about 91 points up, which was pretty good. The S&P moved as well, and look, for a while the NASDAQ was holding its own, but it turned out that the S&P dropped to plus 7 points, and the NASDAQ was down about 35 points. Not that great, but hey, it wasn't bad as yesterday, because if you remember, yesterday, the market was pummeled. And it was down, if you remember, the NASDAQ was down about 400 points. If you remember, also, I suggested a few plays like Facebook and Apple, and they might pay off in the next few days or the next few weeks as we enter earnings season in the middle of October. Just don't forget that middle of October, first of all, banks start off with earnings. That'd be really great. And then tech ends October. So these are going to be some great plays for you to play if you start looking forward to them. So watch the market lean upward for the next 2 weeks as, again, we start doing it. All right, let's talk about Warby Parker's IPO. So it's always fun to watch companies introduce initial public offerings. Warby Parker is an eyewear company that launched its IPO today, and basically it's a company that's competing against Luxottica. Now, I don't know if you know who Luxottica is. Luxottica currently owns about every single eyewear company on the planet. If you're wearing eyeglasses like I am, chances are that whoever the designer name is on the side is really owned by Luxottica. Warby Parker entered the eyewear arena to basically compete with Luxottica, which is the sleeping giant. Warby Parker created an online concept that lets you order and book eye exams with participating eye doctors for prescription sunglasses, any glasses. Everything is going online, merchants, but as we all know, that brick and mortar stores are probably a great reason to get better customers, to get better customer service, advertising, credibility. Warby Parker now has physical locations and will be building more because of their IPO and the money they got from the IPO. By the way, here's my take on the company. I think the company is a great product. I think it's a disruptor by charging lower prices, and it has a really kind of a cool name actually too. The stock will probably do well. However, I tend to stay away from IPOs as they often pop and then drop. So look for Warby to drop, maybe below 40 before considering the stock. Either way, as a rule of thumb, I'd wait it out about maybe 3 months to a little more than a quarter before you jump in on the IPO. Now it's funny because we talked about Robinhood IPO, and I jumped in early in Robinhood IPO, and I made some big money at the beginning. I doubled my money right away, and I'm also still in it. I think it's still a good play, but again, I would stay away from Warby just for a little while. Let's talk about the debt ceiling vote that's coming up. Tomorrow night is the deadline for politicians to approve the debt ceiling vote. As always, they'll be waiting to the last minute to avoid a government shutdown, which will be shut down on Friday. As Republicans and Democrats fight over the responsible spending issues, it's the people who will suffer if this vote is delayed. Make no mistake, it will be passed. It always is. Sometimes it's just passed a few weeks after the government workers are put on furlough and then paid for the vacation they had. So basically what happens is they put them on furlough and they pay them anyway. So I always find it interesting that why not just approve it now? The legislation would fund the government to early December and provide money for hurricane relief and Afghan refugee resettlement. Look for this to make the stock market a little choppy, and that's probably kind of what happened today. At the end, we got a little choppy, but it's not going to be a major blow. My guess is it's going to pass on Monday or Tuesday, not tomorrow, after the deadline is missed. This is a great way for the Democrats to blame the Republicans and make themselves look like heroes by passing it next week. This is not unusual. This is just politics as usual. And just understand it won't be an issue. It's just going to be a quick, I don't know, like I said, it's going to be a little bit choppy in the stock market. Let's talk a little bit about inflation and the supply bottlenecks. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell still expects inflation to ease eventually, but said Wednesday that he sees the current pressure running into 2022. He actually said he was frustrated that getting people vaccinated and arresting the spread of the COVID Delta variant remains the most important economic policy that we have. Seriously? That's the economic policy? That's the most important? Did anyone else notice that everyone but doctors, except of course Frodsky himself, are the leaders of pushing the vaccine agenda? Seriously? Powell is saying get vaccinated, and oh my goodness, really? What does Powell have to do with these vaccines? Nothing. Anyway, inflation by the Fed's preferred measure is running the hottest pace in about 30 years. Powell and most of his colleagues say that they expect the current pressure to decline back to trend as supply bottlenecks ease and demand goes back to pre-pandemic levels. He said Wednesday that 2022 should be quite a strong year for economic growth. That's great to know because that means that we still have a little bit of time. The bottlenecks are also extremely fascinating to me. We have ships that are not being allowed to dock while the food on board spoils instead of going to the supermarkets or the restaurants that need them. We also have computer chips not being made or not being shipped as the automakers begin to lose inventory and not be able to replace it. We have the cost of everything going up because of the fear of another shutdown, and it's time, in my opinion, it's time to move on from the COVID and start living our lives again. This is absolutely ridiculous. By the way, inflation is going to be a problem, and the interest rates are going to finally raise. I actually think this is a good thing. I realize that nobody besides me in the entire planet thinks that raising interest rates is a good thing, but it's going to be a good thing because we need to. We absolutely need to. Next time we have a problem, we won't be able to lower interest rates to solve them if we don't raise them. This will probably be the trigger, by the way. It's going to put us in the upcoming bear market. My prediction, May, June, and July of 2022 is the beginning, so I would be prepared. All right, let's take a quick break, and we will come back, and we will talk a little bit more about everything else.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start. Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and so far we've been discussing the market update. And look, the market did okay today. We were up about 91 points in the Dow, the S&P about almost 7, and the NASDAQ still dropped again after dropping 400 points yesterday. Actually over 400 points yesterday, so that's not very good. It's actually kind of scary to me right now, considering I've got some tech plays, and we'll talk about those in a little while. We also talked about the Warby Parker IPO and how I suggested that people just hold off a little bit and then wait for it. We talked about the debt ceiling vote and, of course, inflation and supply bottlenecks. Let's talk about Evergrande. If you recall, I don't know if you recall, but yeah, the largest holder of real estate in the world is Evergrande. It's a Chinese company, and it missed a bond payment last week. This was after they claimed they worked out the payment and they still missed it. If you also recall, last Monday the market tanked about 1,000 points because of the fear Evergrande wouldn't be able to survive and the shareholders would cause a Lehman Brothers episode like in 2008. Well, the market bounced back and ended the week up last week. However, Evergrande never even made the payment, and now they have another payment to make tomorrow. To solve this problem, Evergrande said it will sell 1.75 billion shares of its ownership in Shanghai Bank to the Shangling, whatever, finance investment company at 5.7 yen per share. All right. Markets are closely watching to see if the firm will meet tomorrow's 47.5 million interest payment due. Actually, it's due today. My guess is they're going to miss the payment, and and this is going to cause a little speed bump in the market, and basically we'll see what happens this time. I told you last week that I thought this would be a distant memory, and quickly it probably will be. Let's go into talk a little bit about Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree popped today as the retailer raised its prices to over $1. They're now called $1.50 Tree. No, I'm just kidding. But, the move was bound to happen. I've known people with Dollar Tree type dollar store franchises, and I learned that these owners are able to buy items for less than $1/3 of $1 to sell, and then they sell them at $1. Because the price is so low, the average consumer picks up many items on the way out to the door, or way out to the register. This makes huge profits and huge sales. Of course, with the inflation we were just talking about that we're experiencing, they probably aren't able to buy dollar items for 33 cents any longer, so the price increase was inevitable. I actually told you a few weeks ago that this was going to happen, and here it is. We talked about Dollar Tree a couple of weeks ago, and I said there's no way Dollar Tree can keep the prices at $1 or below, and they will definitely be raising their price. So here you go. As I've said before, the show will tell you what's going on, and if you're paying attention, you're going to be able to make some money, and that's basically what happened to the people who were in Dollar Tree. I had a couple of texts today that people said, wow, I killed it in Dollar Tree, I killed it in Dollar Tree, I killed it in Dollar Tree, and they killed it in Dollar Tree because what we talked about. Hey, I want to remind you guys, too, that I've got a new book coming out. The book is called Money Hacks, and it's called Money Hacks, and it's a bunch of different ways that you can save money and make more money, and the subtitle is Because Everything You Think You Know About Money Is Wrong. So look forward to that book coming out. It'll be coming out probably the end of the year, and I'm looking forward to getting your opinion on it. And if you saw my post on Facebook the other day, we actually picked the cover. It was the orange one, so orange book cover good. Or, yeah, okay. All right. All right. Let's do this real quick. We're actually going to take a quick short break and get back to you guys in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about everything else that's going on because there's some really cool stuff going on in the market. Talk to you in a minute. Investor Schooling needs a new slogan.
Investor Schooling? Never heard of.
Investor Schooling?
Never heard of.
Investor Schooling? Never heard of them.
Any suggestions? Phil?
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either.
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling? Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling?
Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are everywhere. Register.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and so far we've been discussing the market. We've discussed the fact that the Dow closed up, almost 91 points. It struggled a little. It actually did okay, and then it didn't do so good. Then it did okay. It was kind of a weird day. It was actually a very choppy day that doesn't make a lot of sense. I actually expected it to open up low and then pop, but it kind of opened up high, then dropped, then went up, and so it's kind of a choppy day. The S&P up about 7 points, and the NASDAQ again dropped 35 points after dropping yesterday 435 points. That's bad. I'm not happy about that whatsoever. Even gold is down to 1725, and silver's down to 21.5. Ugh, yuck, not good. Hey, by the way, for you guys who are into crypto, even Ethereum is down, to 2,700. I'm looking for 2,200, and I'm buying back in, by the way, if I get into crypto. All right, so we've also been talking about Warby Parker's IPO and the fact that Warby Parker is a great company. I like it, but I would wait just a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3 months before going in. We talked about the debt ceiling vote, and it's my opinion that they're going to miss the vote. This is going to happen. They're going to miss it. And they're going to close the government down for at least one day and probably open it back up on Monday or Tuesday. And also we talked about inflation and supply bottlenecks. We talked about the fact that inflation is coming. Jerome Powell said it's going to continue. And I also predict that May, June, July is when the market is going to tank. And I don't mean, it may tank quickly or it may tank slowly, but it's going to start its movement down. It's going to become the bear market that we're looking for, and it really is going to happen. I'm going to say, like I said, June, July, May, June, July. All right. We also talked about Evergrande and the fact that they're missing another payment, and we talked about Dollar Tree being now $1.50 tree because they had to raise their prices because of inflation, which is kind of interesting too. I mean, I think it's a great concept, Dollar Tree. I think all the dollar stores are a great concept, but I'm also wondering, I haven't been there. I to be honest with you, I don't really shop anywhere. It's not even that I don't shop Dollar Tree. I don't shop anywhere, but I haven't been there in a while, so I'm wondering what their shelves look like. I bet they're pretty bare right now. All right, let's talk about what's going on in the market. I want you to tell you right now, absolutely, absolutely buy the dips, buy the dips, buy the dips. Yes, I realize that it's a little scary right now. It looks scary. The market looks scary. And there are people out there saying, hey, there's not much going to happen with the market anymore. And you are correct. You're all correct. But you have to buy and get in and get out and grab your money and go. Stock options right now are the best place for you to be because you're not going to stay in long. So I suggest you, even if you want to stop by Investor Schooling and learn stock options, that's great. But I will tell you that stock options is the best place to be right now for dips. BA, Boeing, rocked today, and it was as high as 12 points. Whew. I missed this yesterday. I thought about getting in yesterday, and I really wish I did. It would have been a great play. But I'm really I'm hoping for another drop. I'm hoping to look, maybe below 220, and I probably would get in again. Facebook surprised me today. It stalled out. I mean, it rose. It actually, at one point, it was up $1.50, even $2, and then then it was down. It actually finished down $1. It's actually up another half $1 after market. I'm not sure what's going on there. I mean, as we talked about the Wall Street Journal and their little vendetta against Facebook called the Facebook Files. But I don't see that being a big problem anymore. I actually see Facebook, being Facebook. They piss off all the people like me who have something to say, and then they ask you to say something, but still, people are still on it. People are still, you're watching, most of you guys are watching this again, or watching this on Facebook, so I'm going to say that Facebook's not going to go anywhere, but I'm actually surprised that it stalled out after yesterday's 13-point drop. Apple also rose about 2 points today and fell back slightly. I actually think this is going to be my favorite play going into earnings, and I'm going to suggest you load up on it. CCL and AAL are stalling out, so look for those drops to buy back in shortly because those are going to be good plays. CCL, AAL, RCL, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Delta Airlines, whatever. As soon as this idiot that we have in the White House drops this mask mandate, people are going to start flying again. And when they start flying again and they start traveling again, these stocks are going to take off. So I'm going to tell you right now, you absolutely want to be in these stocks. I play them into February, March, or maybe even June, July, just to be sure that brain dead doesn't wake up and say, oh, I think it's still September. Let's have a mask mandate again. All right. If you've been watching, I'm telling you, if you've been watching this show, you probably generated some income off of this show because we've been pretty good. We've been picking some good ones over the last 2 weeks. There were some good plays, and if you want to play them, if you want to watch this show, I'm telling you right now, you're going to learn a lot, and you're also going to get some great plays. So I want to thank you again for watching Money Chat Now. Hit the share button, and make sure you share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that wants to learn how to do this. Plus, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. Of course, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed on this show. The opinions discussed on this show are solely mine, and no one has asked me to discuss them. Thanks again for watching Money Chat Now. We will see you tomorrow and every day at 4:03. Actually, we might be moving our time. I'm going to tell you about that probably in the next couple of days as we sign a deal to be live on the radio. Oh, I'm not supposed to say it yet. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much.